God is in this room. I can feel the presence in me. I can feel the power. And I know that because this is true for me, that it's true for everyone in this room. We're one big family. We're connected. We're one. And we're tapped in and we're tuned into all that God is in this very moment, all love, all wisdom, expressing completely as me, completely as we. So today we are unbound, we are unfettered, we are without limits, without boundaries. And I'm so grateful for this realization today. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for this day. And so it is. So a few weeks ago, I talked about this idea called dostadning. It's a Swedish word. It means, roughly, it means Swedish death cleaning. And while it sounds morbid, it's really not. A friend of mine introduced me to it. He said he was doing it. And he described to me how it's done. The original idea is that you should go through all the junk in your house because one day you don't want to leave clutter behind for others to clean up. You want to leave nice things. You don't want to leave shocking things, right? And it's the perfect time to do this, I think, no matter what age we are, while we are still in California, technically in shelter in place, I believe, right? And it's a very freeing practice. It lightens you. It helps you come unbound from those things that you've been carrying, physically, right? And in your mind. Boxes, clothes, pictures, junk. But and you may have a perfectly clutter-free environment, so this part of the talk may not relate to you, but if you're like me, you have a hard time throwing things away. I've got college stuff, I've got high school stuff, I've got some junior high stuff. I've just got lots of stuff. And I think I inherited that from my mom, this stuffiness, this collecting. There are worse words for it, right? My mom had so many clothes, so many clothes. When you turn bedrooms into closets and things like that, everywhere. And I remember my brother-in-law said, David, it's okay. Those clothes, think about those clothes to her are like your drums to you. And then I got it. Those clothes are precious. I see. But imagine everything that you own, perhaps packed onto a boat going down a river. Some people have a tidy canoe, a small yacht, perhaps. I mean, I have a little cargo ship with some barges behind it. That's me. And some storage units floating behind that. So I tried this practice of dostadning, Swedish death cleaning, recently. And as I got into the process, the first garbage bag was easy. And then I pulled a few boxes out of the garage, and that first box was easy. And then, that third box took forever, very slow. And that's when I realized this wasn't just a physical decluttering process. This was a spiritual process. I ran across some papers I wrote in high school that were so impressive and complex, and I had to read through them, and I had to read the teacher's notes, and then I went back and saw something I did in the 8th grade that was just blew my mind. And so I had to stop and honor me. And I figured, okay, the only way I've got to keep some of this stuff and maybe take pictures of the rest of it. That way I don't have so much paper clutter going on. And then as I went further into the boxes, celebration and honoring was mixed with regrets. Contracts with drum companies I never finished, dreams lost, dreams abandoned, memories of people that I had hurt. Next, there were memories from childhood, feeling a sense of grieving my childhood. And along with that came some feelings of remorse and shame and guilt for things that I did or things that I didn't do. And I realized I had to unbind myself from the heaviness of the past. Throwing away was a physical act, but what about the non-physical cleaning? So this had to go beyond just the boxes, beyond just the stuff. And I noticed that for some of these boxes, I had revisited them before in the past. So why did I revisit them again every 10 years? What was it about these things that I couldn't throw away? And I'm not saying that you have to throw away precious valuables and pictures and mementos, but when you come across stumbling blocks, birthday cards from friends from your 20s and notebooks from 30 years ago, at least for me, there's a deeper letting go that's in store for you. And I asked my friend about this, and he said, besides the physical, we have to start letting go of the mental. And he said he created this process for this. It's get a journal and begin with regrets and resentments. There's a concept that you may have heard of called the well of resentment. John Gottman, who's a world-renowned relationship therapist, talks about this well of resentment, that when you put things into this well of resentment, it can kill any relationship. So what happens if you're holding resentment for your life situation, holding resentment for the world? What does that do to your life? If it's going to destroy a relationship between people, is it going to destroy your relationship with the joy in your life? Perhaps. And they say that when this well of resentment overflows, becomes so high, it results in things like anxiety and anger and sadness and things that you don't want. So you want to clear away your well of resentment simply by writing things down. So I started to write, I resent this, I resent that. And he said, you've got to go back, if you can, to each major period in your life. Start in the first grade, start in the second grade. I realized I resented being born looking Hispanic when I wasn't, in a white neighborhood, because I didn't fit in and I couldn't speak Spanish. And so I was kind of this oddball, and I used to look in the mirror and pray that I would become blonde. I used to resent that I was bullied in elementary school. I started to write all these things down. Then, according to my friend, then move on to journaling about regrets. And regrets are most of the time regrets for mistakes that you've made in the past. And he said they're a type of self-loathing that's not helpful. And he reminded me that Esther Hicks says that source energy never looks back. Source energy never looks back. So no regrets, no regrets. And I said, well, is that it? You just write things in a journal and that's how it works? What's the rest of the process? He said, that's what you do. You write these things down, and the awareness will work these things through in the process of journaling. It can be very powerful. But he said one more thing. Next, go on to an appreciation section of your journal. That's not an appreciation for things that you've accomplished, but an appreciation for who you are. And he said it took him days to come up with a few things, because everything that he thought of was just, I've done this and I've done this and I've accomplished this and this is who I am and this is the PhD that I've got. But he started to write things like, I appreciate that I want to develop unconditional love. I appreciate that desire. I appreciate my flaws that are coming to the surface, my shadow side that gives me texture. I appreciate my problems that are presenting me with opportunities. So start filling up that journal. And I remember that Myrtle Fillmore did this as well. She did an inventory of faults and then virtues. And she did it in such a gentle, loving way. So be gentle with yourself when you do this, if you decide to do it. And so I did start this notebook about a month ago. the resentments, the regrets, the appreciations. But the process of dostadning, the death cleaning, brought me to a sticking point, and I realized that there was more to be done. I needed to let myself off of the hook for some of the remorse, shame, other things that I was carrying that were non-forgiveness. And then I remembered, I don't know how I remembered this, but I remembered a self-forgiveness practice that I had heard of in the past, and I'd seen it, and I didn't think it was a big deal. It's called Ho'oponopono. And some of you may have heard of this. It's based on an ancient Hawaiian practice, and it basically means to make things right. Ho'oponopono. And Joe Vitale talks about this extensively, and he talks about a therapist who co-wrote a book with him about this, where the therapist went into a ward of criminally insane, is what they were called. And he went in and used this process for 4 years with astonishing results. It's a prayer or a mantra, and it's not necessary to have the person present. He took the people's case files and he prayed over their case files, this particular Ho'oponopono mantra or prayer. And I did a little looking into it, and I realized that this is many, many, many years ago. It was used as a healing practice to heal the sick. It was used to ask for forgiveness from others. But in more modern times, it's become a self-forgiveness tool or a mantra, where if there are things that you need to forgive yourself for or let yourself off the hook for, you can do that. It's multidimensional. And I'll tell you what it is. It's 4 short phrases. It's 4 short phrases repeated over and over. And these phrases are, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. And you're not saying this to someone else. You're saying it either to yourself or to the universe. The therapist that Joe Vitale was talking about says that Ho'oponopono is the idea of 100% responsibility. That is taking responsibility for everyone's actions, not only for your own actions. And he said, if one would take complete responsibility for one's life, then everyone sees, hears, or in any way experiences would be one's responsibility. Everything that you see, hear, and in any way experience becomes your responsibility in a way, because all life is one. It sounds pretty radical, but not when you remember that all life is one. So there has to be some utility in this. So once again, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Those first 2, I remembered again, who did those but Myrtle Fillmore, Unity's co-founder, when she developed her self-healing practice. She did this with her body. She said, I'm sorry I treated you in that way. Please forgive me. She started there. So she must have known Ho'oponopono. And then thank you. And you can say this to your body. You can say it to yourself. You can say it to the universe, or you can imagine that the universe is saying it to you. Thank you that this problem has manifested in my life so I can clean it. And I love you, remembering that love is the ultimate healing power. Remember, you aren't saying it to a person, you're saying it to yourself. So don't analyze it too deeply. And something that was really powerful for me was standing in front of the mirror and saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I did that in front of the mirror, and you'd be amazed the emotions that come up and how powerful that can be. So I applied this to the unhealed memories, the shame and regret. I opened the boxes. I thought about this in relationship to my thoughts that I was carrying that just needed to be unbound, that just needed me letting myself off the hook, particularly for some things between my father and I that I regret. And I can't go back in time and change those things, but I can change and forgive myself for not having, done or not done things that I should have done. So I will conclude by saying that this work, starting out with the Dostadning, and then moving on to the resentment or the regret journal, and then moving on to the Ho'oponopono prayer. This is the work, in my terminology, of becoming unbound. And it's not for everybody. It's not, just try it on if you like it. And know that this type of work is never a complete, just something you do and you're done with it. It's a process that you can revisit. So be gentle with yourself and know that self-love is behind all of it, really. I realized it's all really rooted in returning to self-love. And to me, among all kinds of love, self-love is the quintessential power, because you are divine, and loving yourself is really joining with that awareness. And from self-love comes all other kinds of love, giving and receiving. Thank you. And so it is.
Open your mind and unfold your heart. Relax your senses and feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love that's growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath. Yeah. Release your cringe. And love without waiting. Without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love that's growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. You can't stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. It's already who we are. So lift up your voice. Lift it up now, and let it be heard. Let it be heard. And tell me your story. Tell it to me. And don't leave out a word. Not a word, no. 'cause I think I have been there too. I'm a seeker just like you, and you ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love that's growing here, so take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Lay it all down, down, down. Lay it all down. Unbound. Open your mind and unfold your heart. This song's called Love Cover Me. I wrote it with my partner, Danny. As time has unfolded me, it has revealed to me life's nothing less than sublime. And with every thought I make, every last breath I take, may I be gracious and kind. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Kindness wash over me. Make me a symphony. Play every note you can find. Make me reverberate, gently deactivate, slowly flow out of my mind. Find me a melody, dance and let my anthem be. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. I will not be shaken. I will not be moved. Love, cover me. May my heart awaken and tenderness be proved. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. This is your part. It's just one word. It goes like this. Love, 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 love. Just sing it wherever you are this afternoon. Love, 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 love. We'll come back to that. Love, I invite you to open up this heart of mine. Love, cover me, light any darkness. Love, cover me, right every wrong. Cause me to see love over hatred. Guide me to be faithful and strong. Love, cover me. Love, cover me. Sing that word with me. Love, 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 love. Send it all across San Jose this afternoon. Love, 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 love. All across the country, wherever you want to send it. Love, 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 love. Just circle the whole planet with it that needs it so much. Love, 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 love. Love cover me. 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 All right, thank you so much for having me this afternoon. David, I love you. What a talk. I can't wait to, I've already started, I was going to say start the self-forgiveness process, but I started it during your talk, so I can't wait to continue with that. It's really powerful. And I'd like to you to repeat this after me, just wherever you are, and sing, love be with you, love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in, truth come through you, make good flow to you, and let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Sing that with me. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Love be with you. Peace enfold you. Spirit lift you. Breathe it in. Truth come through you, make good flow to you, and let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, 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 love be with you. I love you all.
Gently close your eyes. Begin to breathe deeply. As you follow the flow of your breath in and out, you begin to relax, releasing tension, and find that calm, quiet center within you. Sit in this quiet for a few moments and just listen. When anxious thoughts emerge, gently send them on their way and bring your attention back to your breath. Now allow your attention to be centered on your beautiful heart space. Here in this divine, sacred place, Allow your deepest desire to come into your heart. A desire for healing, prosperity, peace. Just see that enter your heart. Jesus said, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Knowing this truth, that whatever you need is already provided, you focus now on your desire, your dreams, and you listen and wait in the silence. As you continue to breathe, slowly return to this time and place. Anchored in faith, affirm peace to keep you patient and positive. Guidance to guide you along your spiritual path. Healing to allow your wholeness and prosperity to meet your every need. I express gratitude for my time spent in the silence and with a knowing in truth that my prayers have been heard and the answers are already here for me to claim. Right now, right here in this very moment. And so it is.